say this, that one, I read it for work, and two, I read it so I can also sort of like, it's my one cultural like tether, if you will. And they have the best writing that exists. New Yorker's exceptional writers make them unique. Theater critic Hilton Als, who won the 2017 Pulitzer Prize for criticism. Multiple award-winning Robin Wright covers politics and international affairs, specializing in stories about the Middle East. And now you can get 12 weeks for just $6, half the regular cost, plus a limited edition tote bag. You get home delivery of the print edition each week, along with unlimited access to NewYorker.com, which includes 10 to 15 exclusive site-only stories every day. This deal also includes app access, online archives dating back to 1925, crossword puzzles, and more. Get 12 weeks of the New Yorker for just $6. Plus the limited edition tote at NewYorker.com/majority. You will save 50% when you enter the code majority at checkout. So again, NewYorker.com/majority, and then majority in the checkout coupon code. Also, one of the things that brought Mile and I together, this is even before COVID, but we're doing a lot of this now. I wish I could double up on it. You can take advantage of this time at home. Break out Hunt a Killer. It's a murder mystery game that gets sent to you each month, and it's like a new episode every week of a murder until you solve it. It's a good way to switch up things from watching TV and getting kids off the screens. It reinvents the way we interact with murder mysteries. So you go from a viewer watching this safe in the comfort of your own home to an investigator that's actively involved in solving the case. The subscription box has over 2,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. Each delivery, you'll sift through piles of documents, evidence, audio recordings, and case files, eliminating suspects until you crack the case. You can even join Hunt a Killer's spoiler-free community. It has 100,000 members, so they give you a little bit of clues and theories, and you can talk about it. You can get deep, deep, deep into this, believe me. Plus, part of the proceeds for every box goes to the Cold Case Foundation. Like I say, Mile and I love it. We left the board back in Brooklyn, but we're still playing it hard. It's the beauty about this. It's like it's reminiscent of, it's not D&D, but you're deep involved in this. And you get to test out theories. The thing I like about it is that we can actually have conversations about stuff, during breakfast, or wherever. I don't know. We don't eat breakfast that often together, but during lunch or dinner or just in passing. I had a thought about this. I had a thought about that guy. Right now, for our listeners, you can go to huntakiller.com/majority and use promo code majority at checkout for 20% off your first box. Head to huntakiller.com/majority, 20% off now. Show support for our podcast. That's huntakiller.com/majority. And lastly, all this week, we are sponsored by Sunset Lake CBD. This is they're listeners of the show, fans of the show. TJ sent me a bunch of stuff to test. Matt, I want you to jump in here because Matt is the connoisseur. For me, it's been all about the tincture. But let me just tell you a little bit. They're located in Vermont, outside of Burlington. Huge Bernie folks, too, incidentally. It was a former family-owned dairy farm, which produced milk for Ben & Jerry's ice cream. In 2018, they decided to diversify, and they've been growing hemp for CBD, no pesticides. They use organic fertilizer. You can come and view the third-party tests for results of all their products at Sunset Lake CBD. They sent me a bunch of stuff. All of it was certified. They also have amazing business practices. Minimum wage is $15 an hour. Employees own the majority of the company. And this is basically, Matt can give you a good sense of what the smoke in the CBD is. But I've got some here. First of all, it smells amazing. Mila came into my office. She's like, Dad, what are you doing? Yeah, all the pot out in your bureau. I'm like, it's not pot. It's CBD. And the thing that's nice about it is I've used 2 of the products so far. I haven't smoked any of this stuff. I'm going to soon. But I can tell you from the tincture, I've been sleeping awesome. I've had it now for almost like 10 days. The 750 milligrams. I take one teaser like 15 minutes before I go to bed. What do you call it? Those little squirty things. I've been sleeping like a baby. And their CBD infused coffee. It's like a nice Sunday morning type of thing for me. I mean, I can't because I need to be revved up and I can't be calm during the week. That's not healthy for me. But it's been amazing, all of it. And I don't know, Matt. I know you're very skeptical about the CBD, but why don't you tell us how you've been using it?
Yeah, I was actually a big CBD skeptic. I had a bad experience when I was in Los Angeles last year, but as you can see, I have some of the special sauce here.
Not much left of that.
I have smoked some of it. I'm glad they sent me a lot of it, actually. They sent me a ton of this stuff. But I must say, for sleeping, this is my main use for it. I think it is a really nice, it's like a nice body high, I guess they call it, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not psychoactive.
That's the point, right?
Yeah. If you're somebody who gets like paranoid on other substances, for instance, this probably won't have the same effect because it's not activating the same thing. It's a completely different thing. But like you said, I was very skeptical of CBD. I was not very optimistic about this. But I mean, I don't know if this is just more if they just have a better process or something or whatever, all the pesticide-free farmer-owned Vermont growth. But it turned me into a complete believer into CBD.
All right. Well, save some more of that.
There you go.
Don't blow it all now. Folks, go to sunsetlakecbd.com, sunsetlakecbd.com. Use the coupon code left is best for 20% off. Left is best for 20% off at Sunset Lake CBD. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Nathan Tankus. We are back. Sam Cedar on the Majority Report on the phone. It's a pleasure to welcome to the program Nathan Tankus. He is the research director of the Modern Money Network. Nathan, I appreciate your coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've been, I know that what you were doing prior to COVID-19 had to do with looking into the sort of the monetary policy that would be behind a Green New Deal. You shifted over to talking about the response, the Fed's response to COVID-19. I don't know what we would call this from an economic perspective, but the fallout from a pandemic, I guess. And I know that you're not an economist per se, but your research on this has been, you're getting quite a bit of acclaim for the work you're doing, and you're used to speaking to people who are very well versed in economics. Well, today you're going to elementary school for the rest of us. But before we get there, let's start with why don't you just tell us what the Modern Money Network is, and just tell folks about like the post-Keynesian, school of thought of money.
Yeah, sure. So the Modern Money Network is a nonprofit, a 501c3 that's focused on education around money and economics, especially the interrelations between economics and law from a kind of macro perspective, looking at money, looking at employment, looking at price stability, focusing on these kind of big macroeconomic issues and education around money that there tends to be not very much around. Like money is a kind of subject that we live our whole day talking about, but it's the mechanics of it, how it works in the plumbing behind the scenes, isn't something that is necessarily taught at any level, all the way down from elementary school, high school, all the way up to undergraduate, law school, graduate school. And the Modern Money Network started at Columbia Law School as a way of generating education around money and finance, and thinking that money and macroeconomics was something that was important for everyone to know about, but especially the people who essentially design the system, lawyers.
Right. And so the idea being that, I guess more, sort of lay people on some level, or theoretically, I mean, the thing that we see a lot is where people just freak out and say they're printing money out of thin air, as opposed to what?
Yeah, exactly. There's a perpetual shock at how the system works at a very basic level. And, I think that, we have so little literacy around money that, if you ask a lot of people, about half of them would think that the money that is out there is backed by a bunch of gold at Fort Knox. And the more you probably get more education about how money works, like from Bond movies, than you do in any other part of your life. And that's, not exactly a great education in terms of how money works. And so we have these perpetual forgetting, and then every crisis, suddenly there's a lot of attention on what the Federal Reserve is doing and what Congress is doing, and suddenly there's this sudden realization and all these questions around these issues, and then a forgetting. And the Modern Money Network was founded after the great financial crisis, to try to keep that flame alive and trying to put out their materials on educating about money, so that people have more of a money literacy when these big crises happen.
And we should say, I mean, this is associated with the modern monetary theory, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. They were all close colleagues of a set of economists, Professor Stephanie Kelton, Scott Fulweiler, and so on, and many others. Definitely associated and closely working with them, but also a focus, a little bit more of a focus on the legal side, on the legal analysis of things, and on and kind of expanding out this project to be more interdisciplinary and more deeply rooted in law.
Okay, and folks can go back, and if they Google Majority Report Stephanie Kelton, we've had her on 3 or 4 times. And we've gone through the specifics of this. It was years ago, but still obviously the same. And all right, so let's just talk about, just give us a sense of what is money. I mean, let's just start with there, and then and then we'll get into sort of what the Fed has been doing, and what is new that the Fed is doing that they haven't done before, and what the implications are. But just give us this basic understanding of what money is, and go slow through the parts with the accounting.
Yeah. So at the most basic level, money is a tax credit. It's a tool that we use to settle our obligations with the government. You show up, you have a fine, a fee, or you have a tax bill. You have to pay that in something. And this is a step that's so obvious that we overlook it, but it's actually kind of everything. It's crucially important. Whatever you can pay your taxes with, makes that thing that you can pay your taxes with really valuable. you can pay your taxes with pigs, pigs are suddenly really valuable. If you can pay your taxes with chickens, chickens are suddenly really valuable. So at this most fundamental level, money, what is money, is something that you can settle